Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason and thanks for watching. Now, in my original Bibene budget power station review, I promised that I'd do a teardown video and see if we could charge it up faster than 100 watts. Well, I'm pretty excited because guess what? I got a direct connection to the lithium iron phosphate battery inside right after the BMS. So we can now charge this at 300 watts. Now in this video, we're gonna do the teardown and then we're gonna talk about this mod. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, just check the video timestamps down below. Let's just dive right into it. We'll talk about some stuff at the end of the video, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. There is some inherent risk when you go to open up this power station. You're going to avoid the warranty and you could cause permanent damage to this if you do something wrong. Now there's 4 grommets on the front. Let's go ahead and take those out and then remove the screws behind them. Okay, so the 4 screws and rubber grommets are removed. So it looks like we have 3 connections here that should be able to pop off, and an XT60 connector, and maybe some charging connections here. Let's see if we can get these off. Okay, so I was able to get these off using an X-Acto knife just to cut some of the glue loose. They were glued on just so they didn't come off. Now each of these are color coded and they're all a different connection, so there's no confusion on where they go. Now there's just one more connection in here that I need to disconnect. Grabbing the screwdriver, pushing on this pin, and then pulling up on it. And now we have that connection out. Let's go ahead and remove the back panel. Looks like it has the same 4 rubber grommets. So we'll take these out. Okay, looks like we have one connection for the fan. Nice LED panel with a switch. Let's go and get this fan connection off. Okay, so same 4 screws with rubber grommets. Okay, 4 rubber feet with screws. Okay, so it looks like the LED side pulls out. Okay, now that we got the case apart, this is called extruded aluminum. It's all one solid piece, so that's pretty awesome. And it looks like you could remove this handle if you wanted. There's 2 screws inside. So if you wanted to remove the handle or put on a different handle, you have that option. Let's go ahead and look at the cells first. Okay, these are indeed lithium iron phosphate cells, and they're 32700s. They're 6 amp hours each. Now there are 8 of these in line in parallel, so that gives us around 48 amp hours. And you do have 4 of those sets in series to give you around a 13.3 volt battery. Now looking at the top, you definitely have your AC inverter electronics here. And the top looks to be the AC inverter and the solar charge controller. And then underneath you have a smaller board that looks like the BMS or a power distribution board. Coming directly out of the batteries are 2 10-gauge wires in parallel, so that can hold up to 60 amps, which is great. And then it appears that they come up with these 2 12-gauge wires in parallel to the AC inverter board. Now you have your LED light here, and looking over here, you have the 2 10-gauge wires for the positive side. And everything looks to be soldered really well. But when you disconnect all these, it kind of puts it into a safe mode and disables all of this. So when you have the front panel removed, it's pretty safe because all these power outputs are disabled. But let's go ahead and show you back here. Now it looks like these, I took some glue off of both these screws. And it looks like you could take these off and attach wires here. Now this is a direct connection down to the BMS, which then connects to the battery. So I think if I put 2 wires here, I might be able to charge the battery independently from the charge controller on the board. Let me get some wires made up and I'll attach that here and we can do some testing. Okay, so I made up 2 10-gauge wires with ring terminals on them. So I'm gonna put these onto these connections here and see if we can charge this up. You're going to want to be really careful with this. You don't want to drop this screw into the board, short circuit something. So once I'm kind of pulling up, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to put my black wire down and then this on top of it. Let's get that over here, out of the way. Okay, so black wire's in. Let's do the positive now, which I'm going to use a white wire for the positive. Okay, so two 10 gauge wires. This will support up to 30 amps. Now I know it's fine because they have two 12 gauge wires in parallel, which will support up to 40 amps. So having these two wires here with 30 amps should be completely fine. Okay, just a quick note, if you're going to be wanting to do the same thing, in order to get power output or input here, the front panel has to be attached, because it looks like the BMS turns off if the front panel is disabled or detached. So I reconnected that, and that's how we were able to get power in and out of these two connections here. I did cover these bare leads up with this Tessa tape so we don't have any short circuits. And let's go ahead and put everything back together. Okay, so now I'm left with these two wires and how I want to get them to the outside of the case. I think what I'm going to do is put a hole in the back side of this case, probably right around here, with a grommet, and have those wires stick through with Anderson power pole on them. Okay, this is what I decided to do for the back panel. I have a 3/8 inch inner diameter grommet, and both my 10 gauge wires go through there. And then as I terminate to Anderson power pole, I can push these wires through and have more space to pull this panel in and out. So let's go ahead and get these ready for Anderson power pole, and then I can push this in and tuck those wires away. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my positive. So there we go. Now I'll do the negative. Okay, so we have it all done now. Now it's just about tucking these wires in. Let's get the fan cooler wire plugged in. Okay, that's in there. And then we just screw it in. I just want to show it's fully functional. You can turn everything on and off. Okay guys, so since we finished the mod and the Bibene's completely charged up, let's take some power out of it and then we can test charging it. So what I'm doing is I'm running this inverter off that direct connection to charge my EB70 and this lead acid battery. Let's go ahead and see how much power we're getting through that meter. Okay, 19 amps, 18 amps, pulling about 250 watts, kind of jumps around a bit, but we are pulling a ton of power through that connection. Okay, so we're gonna let this test run for 30 minutes. Now remember, the front of the display, we could only pull 10 amps from those DC connections, so now we have the ability to pull 25 to 30 amps, which is much more useful for running 12-volt appliances. Now the other part of the test, we want to see what's happening to the front of the display while we're pulling power from the back. Let's go take a look at that. So here's the front panel. We're using the back connection right now, and we're not seeing any watts in or out, and the capacity is still 99%. I'll let you know if this updates over time, especially after we're done using it and the battery rests, see if the capacity will update. Okay guys, we finished discharging it from the back port. Now I just wanted to drop the percentage here on the front. So I started by plugging in this load tester to the 12-volt socket, and it's only been going about 20 minutes, and the battery capacity dropped from 96 to 81% pretty quickly. So I feel that the front panel is trying to adjust down to what the battery capacity really is because we discharged it so much from the back. So my hope is that as we charge this up from the back panel, the capacity is going to reset back to 100. So let's go ahead and start charging it back up. First, we're going to test with my adjustable power supply. That has a 10 amp limit, and then we're going to try getting the max load on solar panels, and hopefully once we get the battery full, this will go back to 100%. Okay, so I have my adjustable power supply charging at the back of the battery. Just want to see if charging back there is going to cause any issues. I don't think it will. We're charging at 10.5 amps. This is the voltage of the battery. I'm going to let this run for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then after this, we'll go do some solar testing. Okay guys, time to do some solar testing. I have my two 120 watt Elicantas in parallel along with my Rockpal's 100 watt RP082. All of them are tied together in parallel into my Kisei solar charge controller into the Bibene budget power station. Okay, so we have the solar panels hooked up. We're getting 13.8 volts at the battery, and 16.7 amps in. That's almost 230 watts charging. Okay guys, now that we got this charging up pretty quick, let's go ahead and see if the capacity resets back to 100% when the battery's full. It's sitting around 81% right now. Let's see what happens. Okay guys, shade is really coming up on these panels, running out of daylight here. Let's go ahead and check to see if the battery is full. Check that out guys, 100%. So once you get the voltage all the way up, the battery capacity is going to reset to 100%. That's exactly what I wanted to confirm. Awesome. And you see the battery voltage is at 14.5 and the amps have dropped quite a bit because it's just finishing up charging. You can charge this up to 100% and the capacity meter will reset. Man, did I tell you guys I love this stuff? Anyway, let's go ahead and just sum up some of the things we learned in this video. Let's talk about the build quality of the battery. Now, when I tore this down, I was super impressed. All the solder joints were good. It had heat shrink everywhere. You know, nothing was loose. It was secured down. Super happy with the build quality of this battery. Now, as for the mod that I did, I think that adds a lot of value to the battery. Now you can charge it up to 300 watts, so you can really get this thing charging much faster. Now, just take note that a lithium iron phosphate battery can charge at a 0.5C charge rate, and it can discharge at a 1C rate. So all the mods that I've made are definitely within those limits, so we're not going to cause any damage to the batteries. Obviously, the whole front panel still works. There's nothing wrong with it. USB ports, DC output, AC inverter, all works, capacity meter. But when you use the back panel, as long as you charge it all the way up to the top, the capacity will reset and it's fully functional again. Okay, so we talked about the teardown, we talked about the mod, and we talked about some of the quirks and how to get around it, and basically everything still works perfectly fine with this battery, so I would recommend doing this mod if you're comfortable doing it. Now, did you guys happen to notice the two products behind me? This is Blue Yeti's PV200. It's their brand new 200 watt folding solar panel. It actually has higher voltage, so it should actually provide more power into the EB series, and the build quality is amazing. Also, I have this Xtar SP100. It is a 100 watt folding solar panel. It's super rigid. It has magnets. This has two SunPower 50s together, so it's a 100 watt folding solar panel. Now, if you guys like tech videos, DIY projects, or solar and batteries, you guys are probably gonna like my future videos, so I invite you guys to subscribe to the channel. And well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.